Alrighty, good happy Sunday afternoon YouTube, and welcome back to another misguided episode with Workshop Taz. So let me show you what my project's been today. It's been kind of a busy day working on old, and it is pretty old, Hobart 150. Replaced the capacitors and that's been quite the chore. So let me show you what I've been up to and why it's been a pain in the butt and why I don't recommend it. Alrighty. So here's what we got here. They don't exactly have replacement capacitors for these. I mean, they do and they don't. Capacitors are kind of a funny thing. You can get the same value of something, and yet it turns out to be twice the size. I'll show you guys here what I'm talking about. Smaller ones are stock. Bigger ones are the new ones that I just got for it. The only difference is, I think there's a 5-volt difference. These are 30 volts and these are 35 volts. The microfarad value is the same. But the 5-volt difference should not be enough to make it that doggone big. I believe these are the same size capacitors that are in my new Lincoln over here. I think it has 4, this only has 2. Anyway, so... and the only reason I'm replacing these, they're not bad. The unit's about 20 years old. I bought this Hobart brand new 20 years ago. And I don't know if I can show that to you, but one of the capacitors is starting to seep, which means electrolytic paste is starting to come up through the shaft there. I think that might be a better way to show it there. It's not oozing on that side, but it's starting to ooze on that side a little bit. Capacitors typically have a shelf life of about 10 years. This unit's 20 years old. These didn't short, they didn't open up, but I thought it was time to replace them. So that's what I'm doing, except here's what we got going on. These two capacitors would fit right in here. They would fit side by side right in here, about 4.5 inches. These capacitors are twice the size, so it's about 5.5 inches, and they won't fit in here. So I have had to modify and get these things to fit in here. Now, also the next bad thing is these new little guys here. Sorry for the wiggly camera. I didn't want to do this on my old camera because this has a little bit better picture. These studs for these capacitors are actually a lot bigger. That one takes bolts. These are, I guess, like a computer grade, which doesn't really matter here nor there. So I'm wiggling the camera all around. Pull it back there. And these are a lot smaller. So, and that doesn't work. So I've had to modify some of the wiring. I've either had to drill out the old, not these ones here, but drill out the old bolt eyelets here, or actually solder new ones on. All these is like that wire, control wire goes up there. I had to solder that onto a new lug. This lug was fine here. I had to drill that out. So from the negative, sorry about that, this is kind of hard. I'm looking through the camera here, so it's kind of funny. So this is the negative side. It goes over here, and I had to drill that one out. I think that one, the positive side, was okay. I didn't have to drill that out, but I did have to add larger lugs for this bleeder resistor here. And then part of the control switch for the positive side, I had to add a new lug on there. And then since these don't, I'll just put that right there. Since these don't fit, I had to run wires over to the other side, and I don't know if you can see that or not. Oh yeah, you can. To the other side, so I can hook them up to this capacitor here. So we have that side there, and then the positive side I ran up. I don't know if you can see it or not. I can't. Oh, there we go. Is that it? Yeah. You can kind of barely see it. Anyway, same type of a hole over on this side. It goes over to the other side, so now I can't see it. Where is it? That's where the red wire goes. Where's the... Oh, there we go. There's where the... So anyway, these holes were already in here. I didn't have to drill it, thank God for that. So, and also another thing with this here is... where was I going to go with that? I don't know. I'll have to get back to that later because I completely forgot. Oh, I was going to say, maybe I already mentioned this. You have to wire these up exactly the way you take them apart. So take pictures, write diagrams, whatever you got to do. I don't recommend doing this type of stuff unless you have you know, some, I'll just put that all over the place. You know, some electronic background. I've got some extensive work with electronics. Capacitors will hold a charge, so if you're going to do this, you have to make sure you discharge the capacitors. This rig sat for 2 years before I did this, and so these bleeder resistors here made sure that the capacitors were all the way discharged. Because, man, I tell you what, this, if this doesn't stop your heart, it will knock you on your butt. And no, that's not a joke. I'm not being funny about that at all. I don't recommend doing this. This is a pain in the butt. Oh, that's something else I wanted to say. See this mount right here? Well, this mount fits the butt of this capacitor. The butt of this capacitor is like twice the size. So I had to make some modifications here and actually use a wire tie to try to crimp that tight, and does. It holds it in there nice and tight. But I still don't like that, but there's no way on earth I'm going to get a screw that goes from here all the way over there. And then you can see it also kind of touches that, so we're not going to have to do that. I'm going to have to try to find mounts for these. I'll find those online and then order those, the mounts for that. But I had to drill an extra hole, not a big deal. Still fits in relatively the stock place. Now, what's going to be the pain in the butt over here, see if I can turn on my handy dandy Harbor Freight light here. See if that'll kind of help out. Okay, so I'll show here. This wire was already here. Let's see if I can... Okay, so this is the positive wire that's coming down. So this is also going to go to the capacitor. And then this that's coming behind the motor is the negative wire. And then, so what I'm going to have to wind up doing, I got a little bit of room in here, so I'm going to have to figure out a way to mount the capacitor. I don't know if up here somewhere, get some type of horizontal mount for the capacitor and mount it, you know, I'd mount it to the ceiling of that. And then these two wires will just kind of come up here, and they'll be out of the way, and they won't interfere with anything. And then this bleeder resistor here, I also have to cut those off and solder bigger lugs on there. And that's about it. So it should be working pretty quick here. It won't be today, but stay tuned. Oh, and then also I have to put some rubber grommets up in here. Even though these are smooth, that needs to be rubber grommeted. You can't leave that, but I'm gonna get it wired, and then tomorrow, after work, I'll zip on down to somewhere and see if I can get some grommets about this. Oops, where'd it go? About this size. I need these for up here, and I don't have any that are that big. So anyway, that's what I got. Let's see. So that's how my day's gone. Very big job. Like I said, I don't recommend it. How about you flip the camera up? Sorry about that. It's a pain in the butt. Why am I resurrecting it or keeping it going, or why am I working on it? It was my first MIG welding machine. It's been there for me. It's been basically a purposeful type welding machine. I welded with it as I needed. I didn't do like I'm doing now, where I'm practicing welding. Just something broke, I whipped it out and fixed it, and it's always been there for me. It's done a couple projects. It's worked very well, and I want to kind of keep a transformer machine around. Everything I've got now is pretty much getting to be inverter based, and at some point in time inverter base is going to break, and what am I going to go to is my 240 volt Hobart 150. This is the older version. You can't get these anymore. This is I think this is before they got bought out by somebody, or they sold, or however that worked. I don't keep track of it. A lot of these parts you can't get anymore. I guess the newer ones have changed quite a bit. That's okay. As long as it keeps working, I'm happy. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. I think that's about all I got. Hope you guys have a great Sunday. Hope you guys had a great weekend, and I'll get this video downloaded, and hopefully it's entertaining. Stay tuned, because here in the next couple days, as soon as I find a horizontal mount for that last capacitor, it won't take long to get it going, and hope it works well. So we'll see what happens. I'll leave the covers off, so when we flip the switch, if it's going to spark and catch on fire, you'll be the second to know. Anyway, thanks a lot. Please comment, rate, and subscribe, and have a great day. And it seems like I'm scanning, and seems like I was going to say something else, but we'll just have to wait till the next video, because I can't remember. Have a great day. Bye.